Alright, so if you watched the last video, you'd know that I need to put a harness in the derby car and also need to put the seat back in it, and then we're ready to rumble. Also got to do a couple other things, put the radiator back in it and also fill it up with fuel and two-stroke mix in the gas tank so it doesn't seize while it's overheating. Now I'm at home at the moment, so I'm going to pull the passenger seat harness out of the R31 drift car. So I just need to take it off there and take it off there and also there. So it should only take 5 minutes, and then we'll head to the shed, throw it in the Corona, and fuck, we're almost there. So it's Friday night, derby's tomorrow. And there's our last side. So you only need a 4-point harness in the derbies, so I'm not going to need this bottom bit which makes up the 5-point. So I need to take this to the shed and see you there. Alright, so I'll attach one side of the harness to the factory seatbelt hole. So this is where the seatbelt would have bolted. I've got a seatbelt bolt somewhere. Alright, now that that's sorted, the next thing I'm going to do is put the radiator back in, but before I put the radiator back in, I'm going to pull this off and get rid of the thermostat, because we want it to run as cold as we can. So quickly silicone that back up, put it back on. Okay, so I brought this thing, the reason it was taken off the road is it does have a leaking frost plug. Now I'm not about to put any time into trying to fix that, so got a 6-pack of Morning Harvest. I'm going to crack them into here and I'm going to pour all half a dozen eggs down this water pipe, fill it up with water. Theory is it's going to circulate round, bit of egg white, it's going to find that hole in the frost plug, seal it up, bang on. Here you go. Bloop. Bloop. Oh yeah, boy. We're also not going to bolt this radiator in on the theory that when we crash, it's going to bend the slam panel, radiator support panel, and instead of shearing the tank off the radiator, it'll just push it back on an angle, and hopefully it'll hold on to its water a bit longer. Okay, last 10-20 minutes I have cut the wires for the fan and I've hooked them to the headlight wiring. So now hopefully I'll go inside the inside the car, turn the headlights on and the fan should turn on. There we go. Alright, I got those wires taped up, held away from the exhaust a little bit. Shit, I'm going to leave the battery on charge overnight so it's got a good healthy battery, in case there's lots of cranking while I'm out on the track. I checked the starter motor. You can't really see the wires, but the plug's under there. Basically I checked the starter motor plugs just to make sure that they're on nice and secure, so when I have a bit of a crash they're not going to fall off and leave me not being able to start the car, or at least crank it and try and start it while I'm on the track. So I know they're secure. All the spark plug wires, they're all pretty well on there, they're not going to fall off. I topped it up with oil, filled the radiator like you've seen. So all that's left to really do tomorrow is I'm going to go to Super Cheap Auto, get some 2-stroke and put 2-stroke oil in the gas tank when I fill it up. Reason being is that when it loses all its water, it's overheating like fuck. It's still going to be spraying oil into the combustion chamber with the fuel, and that'll just stop it from seizing and give me, you know, it could give me a few extra minutes, few extra laps. So what I might do now is start it up, let it run for a few minutes and see what comes out the bottom. and see how much the water drops. Alright, it's been running for about 5 or 10 minutes now. It's not up to operational temperature, but the water's definitely warm. There's nothing leaking out underneath it, which is a bonus, so the eggs might be doing the trick. But you can see all that frothiness, so there's definitely a blown head gasket in this thing. So what probably took this car off the road was well, I imagine the frost plug started leaking, someone drove it around, didn't realise it was leaking until it was too late, and they'd overheated it, cooked it, and blown the head gasket or cracked the head. There's definitely blown head gasket because all of that froth, that's all combustion leaking out of the head gasket into the cooling system. But either that or it's my half a dozen eggs. But should be mint. So it's not leaking water, so that's a bonus. We've got the fan on 24/7 through the aid of the headlight wiring, and we've also got no thermostat in it, so the water's just going to be circulating handy as. So all I've got left to do is leave the battery on charge overnight, and we'll be back tomorrow with another video of this thing decimating all.